Hey, welcome back. Andy from Sunshine State Insider, and I love to talk about fun things to do in Florida, from the theme parks to the state parks. And my family and I just did a dolphin watching cruise in Clearwater, Florida, which I know are a pretty popular thing that you'll see offered in lots of Florida marinas and beach towns. So I thought I'd share a few tips so you'll have the best experience if you do decide to do something like this on your own Florida vacation, no matter which tour operator you book one of these with. The first and most important thing you need to know is don't be late. I can't stress this one enough. Get there early, get there early, get there early. Don't be late. Unless there's something like a weather delay caused by a storm or something, these boats leave on time always, every time. The departure time, it's not a suggestion. If you booked a 1 p.m. departure, that boat is going to be loaded up and leaving the dock at 1 p.m. sharp. And since these boats are usually in busy touristy areas, there can be a lot of traffic and limited parking to deal with, so give yourself lots of time to get to the marina. You really can never be too early. And a lot of them require you to book and pay in advance online, so you really don't want to pay for your trip and then show up late to find out that the boat left without you. The marina that we just did our tour from is in Clearwater, Florida, and that has a bridge and a causeway leading to the island that is just always clogged up with traffic. It could take you 20 or 30 minutes just to get over that bridge before you get to the island, and then you still have to deal with parking. So if you're going there or any marina, really try to leave as early as you can. I would recommend getting there at least 30 minutes before the boat leaves, and then you can just relax, look at the boats, take it easy, and have an easygoing time. And that's what it's all about, right? I mean, nobody's going out on a dolphin watching tour to be all stressed out. If you're prone to motion sickness, seasickness, or anything like that, you really should take some Dramamine or something like that before you get on the boat. Fortunately, I don't really get seasick, but my son does. And I really didn't think seasickness was going to be anything to worry about, and I told him, don't worry about it. It's going to be a pontoon boat. We're not going to be going out into the Gulf where the swells will be bouncing the ship around. But luckily, he listened to his mom instead of me, who did give him some Dramamine before we went out because the boat was bouncing around and it was rocking quite a bit more than I expected. It wasn't a big deal, and it's not like we were out there in heavy seas or anything like that, but it was a little bit windy and the boat did rock around a little bit more than I would have thought. So that is something that if you're worried about, it's better to be safe than sorry, and you might want to think about taking something in advance so you don't end up going out there and feeding the fish. You might get a little bit wet, especially if you sit up front and the waves and winds are rough. On our dolphin cruise out of Clearwater, the people sitting in the very front of the boat did get splashed a few times. It wasn't a big deal. It's not like they were on a water ride or anything like that, and the captain even warned them ahead of time, hey, you guys are sitting in the splash zone up here, but they chose those seats anyway, so they may have wanted to get wet because it was a little bit of a hot day. But I'm just telling you that so you can choose your seats carefully. And the floor of the boat did have some water coming up over it a couple of times too, so you might want to leave your nice shoes at home or in the hotel room and go with something comfortable that you don't mind getting a little bit wet. Flip-flops are probably the best choice. You might not see any dolphins on your dolphin cruise. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I've been on 2 dolphin cruises now, and the first one, we didn't even see any dolphins. It was just a boat ride. And then on this most recent one out of Clearwater, we saw a whole bunch. We saw probably a dozen pods of dolphins. The captain will do their best job to find the dolphins, but sometimes the dolphins don't cooperate. So just go out there with the mindset that this is going to be a fun boat ride. You're going to be outside in the sun, you're on the water, listening to some tunes. It's going to be a good time. The captain and the guide will give you a fun little tour of the area, and if you see some dolphins, even better. So go out there with that mindset that dolphin sightings aren't guaranteed, and you will have a better time enjoying yourself. For the best video, and I know everybody wants to share video of the stuff that they see when they're on vacation, I would really recommend setting your camera or the camera on your phone to slow motion video. Sometimes the dolphins only pop up for a few seconds at a time, so if you're shooting in slow motion, you'll be able to get a longer, more drawn out shot of them. Otherwise, you might only be getting some really short clips, and I know a lot of you are going to want to share these videos with friends on Instagram, and the slow-mo looks really cool, so definitely recommend doing slow-mo video for the best video of the dolphins. And finally, a controversial one maybe, is to bring a little bit of cash to tip the crew so it's not awkward. I know tipping is a sore subject these days because it seems like it's gotten really out of control and so many places are kind of expecting a tip. They're putting up those little screens that ask you to pre-select a tip no matter what you're doing, even at carry-out restaurants. But most crews on tours and fishing charter boats will also sort of politely ask that you tip the crew after a tour. It's totally up to you and it's totally voluntary, but it can be a little socially awkward to do that thing where you try to leave the boat as quick as you can and you're avoiding eye contact with the crew because you don't have any cash on board or you just don't feel like tipping. So again, totally up to you, but if you do want to leave a tip, you might want to make sure you have a little cash with you because most marinas aren't going to have an ATM sitting there right next to the boat. So that's just a few tips that I learned from our dolphin tour that we just took out there. If you have any of your own tips you'd like to leave in the comments, please let us know. Or if you've got any great dolphin tours you've taken and you want to recommend them to me or to everybody else, please drop those in the comments. And as always, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell one other friend if you like this kind of stuff and you want to learn about more fun things to do in Florida, from the theme parks to the state parks. Talk to you guys next time.